Hello and welcome to the Dopio podcast. My name is Emil and I am I don't know, I'm a pile of rocks. And I'm joined I'm joined today by my two lovely co-hosts.
Hi, I'm Castleman, and I'm a thing from Georgia.
Hi, I'm Renzo, and I feel fantastic.
That's awesome.
All right, everybody. Today we are going to be covering the 2015 Fantastic Four movie, directed by Josh Trank.
Wait, don't you mean? Wait a minute. Wait a minute.
You may have wondered what Fantastic Four movie we're covering because there's no date in the title, but obviously it's 2015, right? There's no other Fantastic Four movie.
Wait, there's the 2005 Fantastic Four movie.
Actually, April Fools, we're actually covering the 2005 Fantastic Four movie.
Wait, hold on. There's more than one Fantastic Four movie?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which Fantastic Four movie did you watch?
I watched the one with the guy with the rocks and the stretchy dude and the metal guy and, you know...
a lady that turns into invisible, you know.
Oh, yeah. There's a lady turns invisible, too. Yeah, I watched that one.
I think the real question is how early into the movie do they say the words Fantastic Four, or do they say it at all?
They did say it. They did say it in the movie.
In all seriousness, this is the April Fool's episode of our podcast. We are covering, Emil, you can say it,
The Fantastic Four. The Fantastic Four in 1994. Directed by God, what's this guy's name? Oh my god. I just watched the documentary. I should know this.
It's like an interesting name. It's hold on.
Ole
Sassoon. Ole Sassoon.
Ole Sassoon. He's from Sicily. They said in the documentary. Yeah, we're really prepared for this podcast, guys. We're talking about the unreleased Fantastic Four movie, and something really noteworthy I wanted to point out. So, Fantastic Four 2005 came out in 2005, and the one directed by Josh Trank came out in 2015. And notably, both of those are one off of coming out in a year that ends in a 4, and those movies came out. And this movie came out in a year that ended in a 4, or was supposed to come out in a year that ended in a 4, but didn't come out. So...
And then the new Fantastic Four movie is coming out in 2025.
Dude, it's like poetry. It rhymes.
Wait, wasn't Four Stick 2015?
Yeah.
So what we're saying is that these are movies that have the number 4 in the title, but they've all come out in years that end in the number 5.
Oh, okay, sorry. My
the one that could have come out in a year that ended with 4 came out was unreleased. They wouldn't let
that was supposed to. That was technically done and ready for release in 1994. Did not come out in 1994. But anyways, so this movie has a lot of mythology behind it, because of the the fact that it was not released and was produced by Roger Corman. Around this time, there wasn't a lot of Marvel stuff. I think the only other Marvel movie at the time was Howard the Duck that was released theatrically, and then there was the Captain America movie from 1990. So there really wasn't a lot of Marvel stuff in the kind of mainstream pop culture at the time. So this was going to be kind of a big deal, Marvel's first family in an actual movie. But then, the cracks started to form when you find out the budget for this film was $1 million, which sounds like a lot. But when you're talking about movies on this scale, for what this is trying to be, that is nothing. I just watched Doomed, the documentary about this movie. And just hearing their stories of the set, it just, does not seem too far off of, the type of stuff that, we're doing on an independent level, which is kind of nuts to hear. But When did you guys first come into contact with this movie? Like, when did you first hear about this?
So, if you guys are familiar with Red Letter Media's Best of the Worst, it's a show where they, review movies on VHS tapes or DVDs or whatever. And they did an episode on like bad superhero movies, and they covered Supergirl, the 1990 Captain America, and this movie. And they're really negative on Supergirl and really negative on Captain America. But then they got to this movie and they're like, hey, this is actually okay. And those guys are infamously kind of grumpy. So I was like, oh, huh. I never bothered to watch it, but I was like, okay, that's interesting. That there's like that apparently this movie is not, because this movie has a 24% on Rotten Tomatoes, which okay, only 10% more than Fantastic Four 2015. But yeah, no, and then I just heard about things, and I don't know, it's up in my head recently. The YouTuber Godzilla Mendoza recently did a video on it. So we're just like, hey, why don't we cover this one?
This is a totally sick prank. Totally sick prank. No, I'm kind of fucked up by the fact that you said Rotten Tomatoes.
Tomato. What is it?
Tomato.
I just didn't know you pronounced tomatoes like that. That's funny. But yeah, it's.
I wasn't really thinking about it. Rotten Tomatoes. I don't know. Tomatoes. I don't know.
Tomato.
Maybe I only say tomato in the context of Rotten Tomatoes.
Okay.
I'll exclusively say tomato when we're talking about Rotten Tomatoes, but otherwise, if you're just like tomatoes, yeah, maybe that's it.
Okay, fair.
It's Rotten Tomatoes, and what's more rotten? And what's the rotten form of tomato? Tomato.
That is the rotten form of that word. Yeah. What about you, Kafka? How did you first hear about this thing?
My knowledge of this movie was like this was a back burner. Like literally, like I'd see like on the internet, like they'd say, "Oh, this movie's so bad. It's one of the worst like comic book movies ever made. You should not watch this movie. There's never been a good Fantastic Four movie, and this is the worst one." And I saw this one, and by the end, I was like, "What? This is actually pretty good. I like this movie."
It's funny you say that you heard about this movie being bad. I don't think I ever I heard about this movie for a long time, like through like Wikipedia deep dives, and just it was kind of like a mythological creature, and I'd see it at like the floor of like cons, like anime conventions and stuff. Like it was on like they had bootleg copies of it. So like I'd seen it around and I heard about it. It was like this thing that was talked about a lot. But it wasn't until like I kind of watched this movie that I realized like I'd never heard like bad things about this movie per se. More so just about the fact that everyone involved got kind of screwed over and like it was low budget. But honestly, I think I have to kind of agree with you more, Renzo. I don't think I saw your Letterboxd review. I'm not gonna lie, and I wouldn't say I liked it about as much as you did. But I definitely had a good time watching this. Like this wasn't this I wouldn't say this is a like horrible awful movie, especially coming off the heels of Madam Web.
You know what? I'm gonna say it. I give this movie a movie tote bag.
What?
I do. I'm gonna give this
a movie
a movie tote bag. Yeah. Maybe not like the highest condition movie tote bag. It's like a little frayed. Maybe it's held together with duct tape. But it's earnest. You keep it around. It has heart to it. It has sentimental value.
Yeah.
I think this is above Fox and the Hound. I think this is a movie tote bag.
Really? Oh, yeah. I think I'll break the rule again. I guess this one's a Troy and Abed stamp of approval movie. I'm sorry. Because this is something like they'd watch.
It's covered on the reviewed corner of Toy and Albert in the morning.
True.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good movie.
Yeah, no, this is definitely
honestly.
a Troy and Abed movie. It's
Right?
he's so charming. This movie is so charming. I had a big fat smile on my face for like 90% of this movie. I only had dude, genuinely, I only had one huge problem with it.
The age gap. Was it the age gap thing?
Yeah. The age gap wouldn't even be as bad if there wasn't a scene of like Reed, who's like clearly like pretty much the same age or like the same actor as he is later.
Yeah.
With like a kid version of Sue. Who like he marries at the end of the movie. I thought that was a little weird.
I wasn't even thinking about that. That is no, I'm aware of that, and it is weird, but isn't like there's like a 10-year gap or whatever. And so what, like I guess he knew her while he was in college and she was like what, a 13 or something. And that is weird, but at the same time, isn't like he was things for 10 years and isn't like knew the kid when he was in college. I don't know if that's like the worst thing about it. My least favorite thing about it
like a thing knocking the movie fully, like it's not, but that is like a weird thing.
It is kind of weird. I don't know why they had to make that choice. Like they wanted a 10-year age gap, and then they decided, oh yeah, we want Sue to be a younger than Reed, so I guess they did it that way. I don't know. It's kind of strange. I mean, okay, so I will say the age gap has always been kind of a thing. With I mean, it's obvious that Sue has always been pretty significantly younger than Reed, because like Reed has graying temples. And Johnny and Sue's younger brother Johnny is a teenager, and I think they're only like a few years apart. So logistically, Sue is in her early 20s. So I don't know. There's always been iffy thing there.
I don't think the age gap is as much of a problem. It's just like when you're, I don't know. Could you like imagine dating an adult that you knew when you were 13? You know, like that's just a weird thought, right?
Oh, it is weird. Yes.
You know, like if they just did not have that as a story, as a thing in the story, I would honestly not question it, really.
Yeah.
Like I would really not think about it, but it's just like, but we don't have to dwell on that anymore.
Honestly, I there's like one point for which I'll defend that choice. Because I thought the moment, because like, oh wow, they were like together 10 years ago, and then they're together again, and the mother says, "Oh, look at you, back together again, the Fantastic Four." That was sweet.
I agree.
I like that. You know what? I'm gonna defend that choice purely for that little moment, so that they can say the phrase "the Fantastic Four" like 17 minutes into the movie, instead of ending with something fantastic.
Or
what are we, some kind of Fantastic Four?
It's fantastic. Say that again.
You know, I think we should. I have a proposition. I think we should rename the Doppio podcast the Terrific Three.
The Terrific Three. all thanks to the Fantastic Four.
Oh boy, the Terrific Three. Oh,
Johnny says that in the movie. That's a line he says.
If the three of us had powers of the Fantastic Four, which of us would be which?
I kind of feel like the Thing sometimes. Not gonna lie.
Okay.
So I'll take the Thing. I feel like I would just be like fucked up looking. Like if I hit
you know what? I do stretch myself thin. I'll take Reed, I guess. You know, I'll be all limber and stuff. Sometimes I put too much on my plate.
So sorry, just on the point of the Thing. This is actually about the Thing. I really loved Alicia in this movie. I thought the actress was really good, but
I mean that's the, no pun intended. That's the thing about this movie, is literally like,
like you.
No, that's why I said no pun intended. Like literally, like these actors, they knew what they were playing. Like literally, they played it in a most sincere way, and they did their best, and they didn't phone it in. And that's what I loved about this movie. Like they were believable as those comic book characters that we read on the comics. That's
No,
why I like this.
Yeah.
what makes
And
this movie work is that the filmmaking is so earnest and passionate. Like
Hmm.
there's there's like no real there's nothing that I would call cynical about this movie. It doesn't feel like it was made to keep rights. It doesn't feel like we've seen plenty of superhero movies that are made clearly just to keep the rights, including 2015 Fantastic Four, and like that felt cynical and bad. And this one, there's nothing cynical about it. Somehow, even though it was,
I will say I just watched the documentary and it's really sad because I agree with you, but I think it's kind of like looking at the bigger picture and understanding the fact that basically no one on this crew, not even the director, was told that this project was going to be was going to be canceled because the people up at the top knew that this movie was likely never going to be like actually released. And they lied to the crew and the cast. And like if you watch the documentary, it's really heartbreaking stuff because you see a lot of these people that are worked on this movie in terms of the crew and like the cast, they thought that this was going to be their big break.
yeah.
So much so it got to the point where in post-production, after the money kind of started drying up a little bit, the cast and the crew started putting money out of their own pocket to pay for publicists to
Jeez.
promote the film. Out of their own pocket. It was like $18,000 or something like that in the 90s. So like they really believed in this movie and they really thought that this was the thing that was going to make them propel their career.
Nope, you said it again. The thing.
Yeah, that is the thing. So yeah, they were gonna. They. It's really sad because, yeah, it is earnestly told and it is done with. There's a lot of heart in this movie, but then it's sad when you think about the fact that, they thought they were putting everything into it because they thought this is gonna make them, go to the next step in the industry, but then it was just a lie. Like they were lied to.
Yeah. No, it's sad because like, I mean, we might as well say this isn't because it's not officially released. Did all of you guys just watch this? The link on YouTube.
Yeah,
Yeah, I watched it on YouTube.
And it's not even that high quality. And like honestly, like the most negative thing about my experience was that it was low quality. Like I wish I could be watching this. I wish I could be watching this on Blu-ray. Like
Criterion
Dude,
when.
Yeah.
With the way Marvel is now, I really would not be surprised. I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility for them to like drop this on Disney Plus or something. I feel like that would be such a power move, and I think that this movie deserves an official release. And I think we're in the multiverse era. I think it'd be cool.
Yeah.
I totally agree. I don't know. So I only have like one sort of major problem with the movie because like a lot of like the special effects stuff, like I give allowance to because it was made and it's all very earnest and fun. I didn't care for like the subplot with I think the guy's called the jeweler.
The jeweler, aka
Like-
it's supposed to be Mole Man, but
It was supposed to be.
Yeah, but it's like Mole Man, but not, and it just kind of feels like it kind of like for me it almost I'm so invested in how charming the Fantastic Four is, so whenever it cuts away to these guys, I'm like, ugh, really, because like they're not very interesting, and they just don't really. They just sort of. I feel like they sort of hog time that could be spent out fleshing out the other guys more. Like the one scene of them that like that's kind of essential is when I guess Ben Grimm meets up with them, and they're the ones who kidnap Alicia and stuff like that. Like that, all that's like necessary, but like at the same time, it's like I just feel like that character could have been done better. Maybe if it was actually Mole Man, or there's just better ways to handle that bit. But honestly, aside from that and the weird choice they made with the age gap thing, I don't really have any major problems with this on a story level.
I on the Mole Man issue. I I think this movie would be a bit stronger if it wasn't if it didn't feel like it was going on fucking hyperspeed the entire time. Like I
Yeah.
feel like, and I think if you remove the mole man subplot, you have the time to give the moments the brevity and the room they need to breathe and the setup that they need to make them hit. Because it just felt like, ah, God, like when it's like they like just landed on Earth. It feels when everything happens and then just they do their fight and then Ben leaves, comes back, they do their fight and then just they get married at the end. Just kind of all of a sudden, and it just all feels very very quick.
Yeah. So you
Which
should cut
I could
out all the stuff with the mole man, which doesn't really, or not the mole man,
the jeweler.
The jeweler
whatever,
issue.
Mister fucking uh uh a kiss begins with K. Fucking
Oh my god.
um
Oh wait.
uh
Okay. I'll mention something after the mole man. The jeweler. Oh my god. God.
uh yeah, if you just cut out of most of his scenes and just maybe had like, because like if he's not gonna be the mole man, why put so much focus on him? And like
Yeah.
Alicia can just be kidnapped by like some random street thugs or
Thugs. You
something.
know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, you don't need all that focus on this otherwise superfluous character, and that way you can give more development to all these to the Fantastic Four.
They
And I feel
could
like
they could have
again,
been just like at a bank, you know? They could be just at a bank, like Alicia's like somewhere, and then there's like a bank robbery going on, and then he kidnap her, and Fantastic Four saves the day or something like that. Make it simple. It doesn't have to be that we had that subplot with the friggin' jeweler mole man thing.
yeah, because Emil, I can totally understand your problem with the pacing and everything. It's just a very much a case of like, yeah, this is going by a little too fast. So yeah, no, I totally feel that. It's a case of but like it's a case of if you cut out this person and you still keep it at 90 minutes, then I'd say you have a super solid movie here, honestly, in terms of like
Mm.
Yeah.
storytelling. You can there's plenty of problems in terms of other stuff, but like it's I think this I think this is a decent movie in all
Yeah.
accounts, really.
What did you guys think of the costumes? Because I actually love the costumes in this movie.
Oh yeah, love him.
No, it works perfectly because they literally say,
Right?
"Oh, it's kind of dorky." It's Sue just sued them herself because, "Oh, won't this be nice?" It's like it's lovely. It's so charming.
Yeah,
Yeah. The Doctor
and
Doom costume is actually pretty good too. Like looking at
Yeah.
it, like it's
I love
visually
Doctor.
like aesthetically pleasing.
I was gonna say I'm in love with the design they used for the thing. It looks like pretty
Mm,
much like it's such a great adaptation of the Jack Kirby design. Like um and it looks equally human and equally horrifying. But
uh,
something interesting about it, the guy that played Ben Grimm was like 6'5" or something. Like he was like way taller than the actor they got to play the stuntman they got to play the thing. So when he like when he like morphs back when he sees Alicia, it's like the guy's like smaller. Like the thing is like smaller than Ben Grimm, which is kind of funny.
I don't know. It's just gonna suck that the next time we're gonna see uh like in the future, like the more of the thing that we see, it's just gonna be like, motion capture. And I don't know, it just looks good when they're on a suit. That's just me.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean,
dude, they should bring these guys back.
yeah, yeah, totally. Bring them back for Secret Wars. Honestly, I'll watch Secret Wars if these guys are in there.
I love also the conflict between Doctor Doom and Reed. Amazing. And with that final moment between them, and like that's why I'm really sold with the actors when they play these characters, because like, yeah, they're basically embodying these characters. Like I I don't know. I like this movie, man. I really do. It's solid for me.
Yeah, no, this is I think that as a movie, this is just kind of it just overall works. Like And also, I really like the musical score for this movie.
Mhm.
Like, it's really pleasant. Like the main theme for this is like so nice and wholesome, and like every time it plays, I'm just kind of end up smiling.
Yeah.
Like
This was
why is it that I actually find the main theme to the 1994 like a like never released Fantastic Four Roger Corman movie genuinely memorable?
So the composers of the score for this movie were like two like young guys that again thought this was going to be their big break of a movie. Roger
Oh
Corman didn't want
no.
to pay them for the score, so these guys out of their own pockets they paid like $8,000 to hire a 40-piece orchestra
Jeez.
to record the music for this out of their own pockets because of how much faith they had in it.
Yeah. No, I really like I only have like one problem with the score. There's like this one action ostinato bit in it that like I can very clear was with the tip music for that was TIE Fighter Attack from Star Wars.
I
Like
noticed
I
that.
yeah, da 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 da. Like I was like, oh yeah, they that's like the one bit of the score I'm like, okay.
Was
Okay. But
What
everything
wasn't it
else was lovely.
also wasn't it also like some of it was like a mix of that Superman theme from John Williams? I was kind of getting that vibe too. Or was it just
I
me?
I don't know because I think they use the score in a very interesting way. Usually, like a superhero theme is the
Uh-huh.
sort of thing that you use when the superhero is doing their big triumphant moment, right? Like
Mm.
it's what they use when it's like, oh, when you play Superman, it's like, oh, he's saving the day. Da 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 da. Spider-Man just saved somebody. Dun dun. Like dun dun dun. Like it's like
We're gonna
but
get claimed.
in what?
We're gonna get copyright claimed.
By me very badly humming three notes of the yeah da 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 but no but like so usually superhero themes are used in a very different way because in this one it's just like a charming little theme that plays even before they get their powers. It just sort of signifies the four being together, and like it pretty much just plays when they're just being like people and just, oh look, I made costumes for us, and it's playing that theme. It doesn't play, I don't really think, when they're like doing action stuff because it wouldn't fit for that. It plays at like the wedding scene and stuff like that.
I mean, also remember that the language of superhero movies was not quite yet as established. There was Richard Donner's Superman, which kind of set everything up, but since then there were kind of a bunch of stinkers. This is still in the growing pains. This is when James Cameron was going to do Spider-Man, which is a thought that I shudder at. I wake up, I have nightmares, and I wake up in a cold sweat thinking of James Cameron's Spider-Man.
I mean, I would love to go to an alternate universe where it was least, the darkest timeline.
The
Yeah,
darkest
that dude, that's the darkest timeline for me.
What about David Fincher's
And
Spider-Man movie?
that's like that's
That's
definitely
like,
one of the good timelines, I think, but not the best timeline.
yeah, of course. I feel like we're in the brightest timeline with the Sam Raimi movie, but anyway, I think that I don't know, it's just this movie's pleasant. I don't, it's like
Yeah.
I have negative things I could say, like of course the CGI Human Torch at the end is
But
laughably terrible.
It's hilarious.
but hey, you know what? They dealt the cards that they were dealt with because come on, the budget was 1 million and they did what they can. So it's like I can't really fault them for that.
Like I
You
give this movie
know?
a 3 out of 5. Like I
Yeah.
don't, I when I say
We
it's a movie tote bag, I'm not saying it's like very clearly like high grade stuff, but like it's so charming and stuff that even despite it has plenty of flaws, I can't bring it
mm,
in me to particularly shit on it too much because I know I'm aware of the circumstances from which this film was made.
mm. Also, can I add I love the ending shot of this movie. I don't know,
Oh yeah.
It's just, it's a
I really
stretchy
like.
hand on top of a limo, and like, how rare is that for other comic book movies to end like that? They always end in like some
I
flashy way, and this one is just like Reed on like in the limo, like waving goodbye with a stretchy hand. I was like, yeah, that's charming.
I, I like how they lingered on that shot like a little too long because they're like, "Fuck, we used we like we put so much work into this. So, like, gotta make sure it's on screen as long as possible."
I do find it very hilarious that Reed got married in his superhero costume.
Yeah,
I know that's what he did
Sue's,
in the comics, but it's just so funny either way.
yeah,
Sue's the only one in a wedding get up.
He never
yeah,
takes his suit off.
Oh god.
yeah.
Hey, she made it for him, so maybe she asked him to wear it at their wedding.
Aw, so that's kind of sweet.
Yeah, it's a sweet movie. Like,
Yeah,
in most ways you look at it. Again, there's the one unsweet way you can look at it in terms of what we were talking about earlier. But like, otherwise, I quite enjoy this film. It does not deserve to be ranked as one of the worst superhero movies of all time. Not with, there's no way. This is
Yeah.
not a level on Madam Web or Morbius or Suicide Squad 2016. I could keep naming other terrible ones, but like it's charming and it's lacking of any cynical quality.
okay. I have a question for the class actually. Do you guys
Okay.
prefer this to the 2005 version?
I have not seen that movie in like I the last time I think I saw that movie was when it was like playing on like TV or something. And I don't
Oh,
think I've watched TV like in terms of having stations and stuff in like something like over 10 years. So
oh.
it's probably been at least a decade since I've seen that movie.
Yeah, I'm
Probably not
on
since
the
I
same
was
boat.
maybe even before I was in high school.
Yeah, grade
Honestly,
school.
I'm a really big fan of those movies. I really like the Tim Story Fantastic Four films. I might suggest that for a future podcast episode. They're short and sweet.
Short and
Um,
sweet.
but I'm a big fan of those. But all
I
right.
will say I've seen the second one more than I've seen the first one.
Yeah,
Because
I think
I
yeah.
owned Rise of the Silver Surfer on DVD, and I didn't own the first one for some reason. Okay, so get this, for those Tim Story's Fantastic Four movies, I didn't own the first one in DVD. I owned the novelization of it. So I would read the novelization of the first Fantastic Four movie, and then I would watch Rise of the Silver Surfer.
Getting the complete experience.
Yeah, so I mean I guess the novelization adds things, So I guess maybe I know more than you do. Who knows?
Rise of the Silver Surfer teaser that went hard. Actually,
Yeah.
the
It
first time
did.
I saw that teaser, I was like, "Wow!"
When did Rise of the Silver Surfer come out? 2007, I think.
I think 7,
2008.
yeah, 2007.
2007.
Dude, I was what, like in second grade, I think. Like,
Hey, we were more excited for Spider-Man 3 than Fantastic Four: Rise of the
yeah.
Silver Surfer.
Guys, Venom's Carnage is gonna be in it. I swear.
Remember when Galactus was a fart cloud?
Kimchi from Chowder.
No, it's okay. We all have our fart cloud days.
Oh my god.
Another thing I was gonna mention. I find it so funny. We all met on a Spider-Man themed server, and we started a movie podcast. And the first Marvel movie we do a podcast episode on is the 1994 Fantastic Four movie.
I feel like we're trying new things, right?
Yeah.
This is
No, I
this is
just
one
think
of the
it's
few
funny.
Marvel movies I don't think I have never seen. Like, I've unfortunately sat through all MCU movies prior to Guardians 3, and pretty much dude, when I was a kid I obsessively watched every single Marvel movie I could get my hands on, honestly. I've seen Howard the Duck. I have not seen this one. Like, this was like a
Mm.
huge like little blind spot in terms of Marvel movies I had not seen, at least in terms of like older iterations of Marvel on cinema. So
Did
this is almost like a completionist type thing to finally watch this movie.
Castleman, I have a question. Have you seen the 70s Doctor Strange movie?
Ooh, I have not actually.
There is a Doctor Strange movie from 1978.
Hmm.
And
I have watched the 1970 Spider-Man TV show though.
I want you guys to check what it looks like. Doctor Strange 1978.
Okay. Live Castleman reaction. Let's go. Doctor
Live
Strange.
Castle.
Strange. 1978.
Doesn't that blow your mind?
Dude, Doctor
Is that
Strange
what
kind
it
of
is?
looks like my dad in the 70s. That's so
No,
funny.
no.
Oh dear. Oh, okay. That's what I was wearing, huh? Okay. Okay. Interesting.
Apparently has a 71% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Honestly, that's like more unhinged than if it had like a 50.
Yeah, actually. Oh my god. So
And it's
apparently it's not
pronounced
that.
Rotten Tomatoes.
Oh my god.
So
Oh my
we have
god.
another one. We have another Marvel movie that
Hmm.
no one's
Oh,
ever.
the completionist Marvel fan that I used to be back when I was a teenager would be proud of me right now.
Oh my
yeah.
god.
What about the Trial of the Incredible Hulk? Daredevil's in that.
Well, we don't have to. You don't have to. How I guess it depends on how much you want to count TV movies, because then we have to watch the 1998 Nick Fury movie that stars David Hasselhoff.
Oh my god.
Whoa, I didn't know this was a thing.
You didn't know? Yeah,
Yeah,
there was
I
a
knew about
Nick
this
Fury
one.
David Hasselhoff TV movie.
Dude, there was a 90s MCU. That's crazy.
Is Oh man, imagine like Captain America from the 90s teaming up with David Hasselhoff, Nick Fury, and this movie's Fantastic Four, you know?
I mean,
Crazy shit.
Secret Wars, man. It all leads to Secret Wars.
There's gonna be
Oh,
so
actually, do you know who wrote the Nick Fury Agent of Shield David Hasselhoff movie?
who?
Who?
David Goyer.
Oh, no
What?
way.
Yeah.
What?
Yep, co-writer of the Dark Knight trilogy.
That's the nuts. David S. Goyer. Oh, also,
Dude, oh my god. Here's the main villain. From what I'm looking at, here's like the main villain in the David Hasselhoff movie. It's
What?
it's Contessa Allegra de Fontaine, the character played by Julia Louise Dreyfus in
Oh my god.
season
Elaine.
in Phase 4 of the MCU.
Elaine Benez.
Yeah. Wow, this is interesting.
That's so funny. Wow.
wait, what?
Dude, actually, I usually these TV movies have like no actual named characters, but I'm looking at this list of like cast members of this movie, and it's like interesting. Like Arnim Zola is apparently in this movie.
Wow.
Yeah. Okay. Maybe I low key I would watch this. I don't know. Anyway.
Wow. So
Anyway, do we have anything more to say about Fantastic Four?
I don't think so, honestly.
It's fantastic.
What's everybody's ratings?
3 stars.
I think I go 2.5 on this one.
Hmm.
Oh, this is a reverse Dune where me and Renzo were both 2.5 stars, and you were 3 stars. Now me and Renzo are 3 stars, and you're
Wait.
2.5.
Didn't we sway Emil to change his rating into 3 stars? 2.5.
Are we making
now
this a trend?
Now we have to sway Emil to changing his rating to 3 stars.
Dude, no. We can't make this a trend on the podcast.
A trend of us bullying you to change your letterbox
Change the
score.
rating. Change it.
By like half a star too, like not even that much. Like it's like is Fantastic Four, is Roger
Hey.
Corman's Fantastic Four worth it?
Hey, Emil. There's director's intent. There's director's intent.
Hey,
You
save
know
that
what
for
I'm
the
talking
Tenet
about?
episode. Save it for the Tenet episode.
Oh boy.
Save
Well-
it for the
Oh,
Tenet
bro.
episode.
I hope everybody had a good time listening to us. I had a good time watching this.
It's not a good time. It's a fantastic time. Come on now.
Yeah.
You have something to say for us, Renzo?
There it is.